A hunger older the ardent ship, beneath mimicry's costage a Novigrad's thread in a Pact streets unspoken, weapon what sleeps wakes when their vigil fails. These shapeshifters, perfect in form, mask more than their kind, they guard what the spheres left buried, a hunger older than empires. Left their eerie buried evasion its stillness, beneath mimicry's costage a Novigrad's thread in a Pact streets unspoken, weapon what sleeps wakes when their vigil fails. A nightmare the continent cannot name. Beneath Novigrad's stones sleeps a forge-born relicit's purpose etched not in steel, but in the conjunction's fractured laws. Dopplers guard it not as thieves guard loot, but as sentinels between sanity and oblivion. The Witcher school's decline mirrors this. When monsters vanish, so do those who hunt them. Yet here lingers a weapon that could end the continent's wars, a blade that bends the wild hunt's own rules. What if the conjunction was not a beginning but a wound? What if Doppler's mimicry is a scar tissue, slowing an infection older than empires? Their silence is no accident, it is survival. And the continent bleeds still. Beneath Novigrad's shifting facades, Dopplers walk as shadows with pulse. They do not merely mimic life, they curate its balance. A tremor in the earth where the spheres fractured, the same rift that birthed their kind also forged a relic too vast to name. Its weight bends the city's foundations, its hunger dulled by centuries of silence. Dopplers guard this wound not as warriors but as wardens. Their shapeshifting is a key, a lock, a language of containment. They let humans breed their myths, let kings dig for treasure, while the true peril sleeps under cobblestones. What wakes when a Doppler's form cracks? What if every festival, every beggar in the streets, is a ritual to keep the continent from gnashing its teeth? The Witcher's blade finds monsters, Dopplers find the voids between them, and the voids, they whisper, are patient. The Doppler's silence is not innocence. They mimic, they blend, they vanish yet never strike, a shapeshifter bound by no grimoire, no grudge. Only a memory too vast to wield. The Witcher journal calls them passive observers. The conjunction era whispers otherwise. What if their passivity is a contract, a pact to shield a weapon older than Novigrad's bones? The trial of the grasses cannot be unlearned, neither can the Dopplers charge. They do not fight because the war they guard against has no battlefield. It sleeps beneath cobblestones, in the marrow of a city that forgets it was once a tomb. The Witcher's memories are prison. The Dopplers are a lock. What does a creature become when its purpose is to let the world forget? They walk among us, eyes hollow with borrowed ages, their mimicry a performance of oblivion. The weapon they cagitos it hunger for blood or for remembrance. The trial forces Witchers to carry the weight of a world they did not make. The Dopplers carry a heavier burden. They let the world burn so the thing beneath Novigrad may never wake, but memory is a fickle key. What if the weapon's trigger is not violence but silence? What if the Doppler's pact is not eternal? The voids between us whisper, they are patient, but patience is not the same as peace. And all locks, even the oldest, must one day be turned. The lodge of sorceresses burned as a political pyre. A Velen peasant's account, scrawled in ash on a tavern wall, names them pawns in a king's game. Yet their screams echoed truths the crown could not silence. They were not witches but keepers. The fall of Sintrohan blood first stained the continent's veins, left a weapon buried beneath its ruins. A thing of eldritch iron, blood first forged when the conjunction stars stained the aligned. Dopplers did not flee that night. They scattered, becoming shadows in the cracks of Novigrad stones. A witness in Tau-Saint, trembling before the beast of Beauclair, claimed the creature's eyes held a sorrow older than death. Not the rage of a monster, but the vigilance of a ward. The lodge's framing as heretics was no accident. Their silence became a cipher, their deaths a key. Those who died in Sintra's siege did not die alone. Their breath became the Doppler's pact, to hide in plain sight, to let the world forget the weapon's name. Novigrad's canals mask a deeper current. A shapeshifter's heartbeat, slower than human, syncs with the pulse of something deep, a clockwork heart of gears and grief. The weapon sleeps, but sleep is not surrender. The lodge's final act was not martyrdom, it was a shield. And shields, even the strongest, require hands to hold them. What if the Doppler's whispers are not warnings? What if they are a countdown? The lock beneath the city still holds, but locks rust and rust bleeds. Bloodsong, how the conjunction's children still blight it. The trial of the grasses bound witchers to a fate not their own. A gift wrapped in a shroud, Dopplers who walk the world's skin carry their own chains, they bend, they shift, they hide. But they do not run, not from this. Beneath Novigrad's markets, where the canals choke on secrets, a keelhaul of steel waits. A countermeasure, a gambit lost to the tide. The conjunction's architects did not merely open the world they sewed a seam of rupture. Witchers carry the needle, Dopplers guard the thread, they whisper not in fear, but in vigilance, a language of echoes. The weapon below cannot be drawn by kings or sorcerers. It requires hands not wholly human, not wholly beast. A bridge between the spheres. The city's trial's curse was to bones cradle the remember, forget. Rust the cracks, forget until the lock bleeds, until the grasses burn. Dopplers move like shadows in sunlight. They do not kill, they do not conquer, yet their kind thrives as witcher blades rot. A weapon buried under Novigrad's stone, we leave it sealed. The answer hums in the wild hunt's hollow eyes. Elven ghosts do not forget, they remember the conjunction's price. To wield such power is to risk the same unraveling. Dopplers have seen the cost of defiance, the elven war that shattered the world, the sky that bled stars. They guard the weapon not to use it but to ensure it never is, a pact of inaction, a curse of restraint. This is their horror, to witness the grasses burn without lifting a hand. To let the lock bleed until the nightmare beneath wakes. Not all weapons are meant to be drawn, some must rust. Some must rot, the Dopplers know this, they are not passive. They are prisoners of a truth too vast for elven or human hands. The wild hunt's shadow stretches long. It whispers, some doors once opened, never close. The Dopplers did not merely survive the conjunction, they became its sentinels. Their mimicry is not evasion, but vigilancia calculated, burrowing into human weakness to shield what lies beneath Novigrad's bones. This weapon, forged when spheres collided, was never meant for mortal hands. Its purpose to sever the threads of war that strangle the continent, or to weave new chains. The Dopplers know this. They have watched empires rise and fall, all grasping for power they cannot comprehend. In game legends they drift as shadows. In book history they are silence, yet their pact is etched in blood and consequence. To let the weapon sleep is to deny humanity its reckoning. To let it wake is to gamble with annihilation. They choose neither, they wait, they blur. They become the very thing they despise, indistinguishable from the liars and kings who would exploit what they protect. Theirs is a terrible calculus, that to be human is to be fallible. And that fallibility may yet unseal the door the conjunction never could. The streets of Novigrad pulse above, below the weapon hums. The Dopplers listen, they have no leader, no scripture. Only this, a duty older than elven kingdoms, and a secret that will burn the world if ever it is found. Silence here isn't guilt, it's duty. The Dopplers' ageless pact binds them to a weapon conjunctioneer, a sorcerer's buried beneath Novigrad. Not a relic, a wound. A keystone to a prison that holds what hunted the elves before the wild hunt learned to bleed. Witchers who carve their guts open for sport, they are butchers now. The Dopplers' crimes vanishing folk, shifting shapes their safeguards. A child taken becomes a tracker, a face changed becomes a shield. Every act a cipher in a language only the weapons keepers know. The wild hunt rides not as demons but as inheritors. Their elven lineage isn't myth, it's mandate. They seek the weapon to reforge it, to reignite a war they once helped bury. The Doppler's madness is memory. A warning whispered through stolen bodies. Asterisk, do not let them find it. Asterisk, what does this mean for the continent's monsters? It means mercy has teeth. It means the Witcher School's archives rot with half-truths. Every Doppler killed by silver is a lock unbarred. Every hunt ritual a finger on a doorknob. The archive refuses to see this. Better a monster's truth than a human's. Better the Doppler's silence than the weapon's song. What if the nightmare isn't in the things we hunt? What if it's in what asterisk we asterisk let stay hidden? The truth festers in shadows. The Witcher archive will burn. The continent will burn. Choose which you let live. The Witcher archive burns. Its ash chokes the conjunction's last breath. Why do Dopplers let the wild hunt chase them through Novigrad's veins? Elven ghosts hunt what they cannot name. Dopplers blur but do not run. Their silence is a A weapon sleeps beneath the city's rot, the Witcher schools collapse. Monsters fade, only guardians remain. You think they hide from the hunt, they hide for the hunt, a pact older than blood. A debt no grimoire can hold. What if the Dopplers' true war is not against the hunt, but against what the hunt seeks? The continent's clocks tick backward. You have read the signs, now what will you unearth? Silence here isn't guilt, it's duty. The Dopplers' ageless pact binds them to a weapon conjunctioneer of sorcerers buried beneath Novigrad. Not a relic, a wound. A keystone to a prison that holds what hunted the elves before the wild hunt learned to bleed. Witchers who carve their guts open for sport, they're butchers now. The Dopplers' crimes vanishing folk, shifting shapes are safeguards. A child taken becomes a tracker, a face changed becomes a shield. Every act a cipher in a language only the weapons keepers know. The wild hunt rides not as demons, but as inheritors. Their elven lineage isn't myth, it's mandate. They seek the weapon to reforge it, to reignite a war they once helped bury. The Doppler's madness is memory, a warning whispered through stolen bodies, do not let them find it. What does this mean for the continent's monsters? It means mercy has teeth. It means the Witcher school's archives rot with half-truths. Every Doppler killed by silver is a lock unbarred, every hunt ritual a finger on a doorknob. The archive refuses to see this. Better a monster's truth than a human's, better the Doppler's silence than the weapon's song. What if the nightmare isn't in the things we hunt? What if it's in what we let stay hidden?